Oh, hey there. Didn't see you there. Welcome to TCB Studios. Welcome to Burn It Down. Happy Monday night, everyone. I'm just coming back from a wonderful trip with family and friends in Brevard, North Carolina, in the mountains. If you've ever been there, if you've never been there, you should go check it out. Wonderful time outside in nature with loved ones. There is nothing better than that. It was therapeutic, actually. And that kind of segues into our guest tonight. Our guest tonight is one of the co-founders of CCTV, this platform we're on. Thank you, everyone at CCTV in the background, taking care of things. We appreciate you. We have a lot to tackle tonight. We're going to talk about the real deal, Holyfield, ups and downs all around, the struggles, the highs, the lows, and the in-betweens. Poet, producer, curator, good human. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jon Phipps.
Thank you, sir. It's good to be here.
How are you?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. I've got Renee running everything in the background. I got my PB&J hat. I know it's not a BLT hat. It's a bit off brand, but next best thing, keeping poets and struggling musicians alive for decades.
PB&J is awesome across the board, no matter what the acronym is for.
Amen, brother.
You know, I was thinking about you today and taking notes while I was going through my day. And I started just writing these things down because we met during the pandemic. And I'm like, how do I describe this young man, Jon Phipps? Wonderful guitar player, wonderful imagination. We're going to get into that because sometimes your imagination actually becomes your enemy. And we're going to get into that. You know, we let it get the best of us. It happens to me all the time as well. Incredulous poet. I love the way your brain writes, your fascinations, your romance, and you tell these wonderful stories in your poems. Wonderful reader. I love the way you read and interpret other people's poems. And then you come with Renee Jaworski, big shout out, and you come up with this platform, CCTV. You're a creator, a curator, and a producer, and a director, and we're a host as well. And then some loved ones step in and talk with you. And then on top of everything, I say you're an idea man, because you are, and you have brilliant ideas. But what happens with that? Because I'm an idea man as well. And I certainly suffer from some ADHDs and other things. And I've been given advice from my therapists and loved ones who have produced and directed me over the years. And they've said, Tom, you can try to do 10 things all year long and you will get 0 of them done. So I actually have to tell myself and get help. And I go, okay, well, right now I'm working on a record for 2 months. Then I can get it done. Next, I'm working on this poetry. Next, I'm working on this Burn It Down show. Because when I try to get 10 things done, it seems like I get 0 done. But when I concentrate on one thing, I get it done. And I'm proud of that. And I'm also proud of, you know, people used to say when I was younger, like, know your strengths. Yes, that's fine. But also know your weaknesses. I know what I'm not good at. And when I ask for help and I get it and I listen, then I really get it. So I want to say thank you for being a guest on the show. Thank you, Renee, in the background. Thank you, everyone else. Shout out Kelly's Death Pickles, everyone who's involved. But thank you for what you've done up until now. And let's talk about where you're at, because you did take a big step back and you said, okay, I love that I did this with CCTV, but I want to make my head and my heart and my brain all in the right places so that I come back and execute and do things really big.
Yeah. And it kind of ties back into what you were saying there, doing 10 things all at once. This is why I admire Renee so much. She has that capability. She's spinning plates on all 10 of her fingers and at least 7 of her toes at all times.
Yeah, so sure. She's a Wonder Woman, yes.
And I thought to myself, okay, she can do this and not burnout and not get driven into the ground, I can as well. That was my big mistake. So
Right.
the
And
long,
by the way, I don't know anyone that can. I certainly can't either. Shout out to Renee, and what she does is so impressive.
but yeah, I tried to do all things at once. I tried to, like I said, spin plates on all of my fingers and toes. And
Hmm.
August of this year, the bottom dropped out. I
Hmm.
found myself, I found myself sharpening knives to open my wrists and end my life.
Hmm.
I found myself wanting to jump from an overlook on the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Yeah.
I found that I could not do anything I enjoyed without without just being consumed about what was going on in Cosmos. And
Right.
I was a wreck. I was a wreck. I was a rudderless ship, and everybody knew it. But
Right.
it wasn't until the bottom dropped out that they finally said it out loud, and I'm grateful that they did. Um, and Renee, again, shouts to her. She and MM Farwell and
Big
Diane Marie
fan of
Call, who was
big fan
just
of
on
MM.
BLT and
Yeah.
slayed it,
Big fan of
and
MM. Big fan of Diane. Wonderful
M
humans. Wonderful
Diane,
women.
M Diane, and our fellow New York Cityan Sandy D and Grand sat me
Love Sandy.
down, and they basically told me, in not so many words, they said, "Look, son, you're gonna sit your ass down. You're gonna get the help you need. We're not gonna attend your funeral."
Right.
That's verbatim what they said to me.
Yes.
And they were patient. They were patient. They helped me chart a course.
And it took a while. It did take a
Oh
minute, because
yeah,
I
the
was in on
the
a few of those conversations.
mhm.
And so, first things first is one, big shout out to all these strong, awesome, independent, badass women.
Amen.
And then shout out to you and respect for you finally listening to them, because sometimes we don't know what we need until we get it. And that's happened to me a lot. And
Yeah.
believe me, I've walked, there was a time, it was a long time ago now, but at least 10 years ago. But let's just say I looked at bridges and buildings too. And I'm so glad I no longer look at those things that way. But,
Mm.
that is a huge step. So you're acknowledging that something is not right. Something is very wrong.
Yes.
We shouldn't wake up and maintain and live our days like that, and then you acknowledge, okay, well, what's next? I need help, and so that's where you've been out for the past few months.
Actually, it's been that way for a long while. I've not told very many people this, but in 2018, in September of 2018, I tried to make an attempt on my life as well by overdosing.
Oh
And
my goodness!
at that point, I just blew it off. I didn't,
Right,
I just said, whatever, it is what
right,
it is. I lied to myself. I said, I won't get that. I won't let myself get that dark again.
right.
And then here I am, August of this year, in the same
Hmm.
damn boat. But the difference from then to now is those badass ladies that took
Yeah,
me
the
in.
difference between then and now is, you're loved. You
Mm-hmm.
have these badass ladies, these badass humans, this badass community that we
Yeah.
often talk about, the brotherhood and the sisterhood. And
Mm-hmm.
everyone wanted to step in. I mean, because I know that there were even a couple of projects that I almost hit you up on the past,
Yeah.
let's say, 6 months ago, and I was going to get
Mm-hmm.
you involved. And these ladies, they interfere. They go, "Nope, love you,
Yeah, I
Tom.
am.
But do not get Jon Phipps involved. Right now, we're fixing Jon Phipps and repairing him so that down the road he can execute and kick ass completely."
Yeah, MM Farwell, I mentioned her. She and Diane, they have been part cheerleader, part whatever the thing in the army, part general, something like that.
General, cheerleader, therapist, babysitter.
They've been
They're
on
gonna they're
my
gonna they're gonna
ass.
pun they're gonna punish you. Yes. So how have things been going? Because you also are a young man who certainly wears his heart in his sleeve. And
Mm.
my hats off to you on that. But also, that could be a bit much for your own brain and heart, and also for us who see it. When every feeling you have throughout the day, I see you put out there on social media, and I want to be like, "Hey, brother, it's going to be okay. Calm down, chill out." So, because again, we get inside our own brains. I do it too, and it's just like it's not good. You're thinking you did something wrong to somebody. You're thinking someone's mad at you, and it might just be that they have their own stuff going on, and they
Yeah.
just can't really deal with this. So how are you doing with that? And let's talk about where we're at, and then where you plan to be at, and where you want to go.
Yeah, that's something I've struggled pretty mightily with. There's feelings of abandonment. And again,
Right,
it goes back to those ladies, especially Renee, who I'll come to her some days. I'll just be like, I'll just be a mess. I'm just like, no one loves me. I'm being ignored.
right,
Ah!
and that
She'll
couldn't
just
be
be like,
that couldn't be the furthest from the truth.
mhm. And she's I don't know how she does it, but she has a fuse that's as long as a country mile with me, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm
Right.
grateful also for M for sitting me down when I get that way and just telling me, look, you're gonna be all right. The world ain't after you. Take a
Right.
deep breath, listen to music, go for a walk, and just get this dark shit out of you.
MM is a very wise and worldly woman.
Fuck yeah.
I was really down last week.
Mm.
Not going to get into why or anything that, but I'm actually pretty private about that stuff. But let's just say I wasn't having my best day, and all of a sudden I see this voice message from MM, and she goes, "I'm just driving right now, and instead of
Yeah.
doing stupid things, I want to just call you and tell you that I appreciate you and I love you and I'm glad I met you
Yep.
and you're a really great person in my life." And I'm like, text her back. I go, "You have no idea that I was just about to cry 10 minutes ago. Thank you for doing that for me." And it's those little things
And
you and I
here's the
have done.
beautiful
I've seen you have a bad day. I'll send you a note. Renee has sent me messages just saying, "Hey, my brother, you're my hero and you kick ass." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, you're my sister and you kick ass." And we're lucky that we have this support system, this group of people. You have so
yeah.
many friends that you've made in the past couple of years, and and then you've made so many fans. I mean, because you're writing so much poetry. You've had so much poetry published. Congratulations on that. We
Mhm.
need to get you in the studio and put out a beautiful, gorgeous, finger picking. I mean, the Richie Havens type record. I mean, come
It's
on.
funny. It's funny you mentioned that. I've actually been thinking about that myself.
Yeah. It's the thing is there's no time like the present. And
Mhm.
so when we get you in the place that you want to be, which you will do that and you will accomplish that, that's when you say, okay, wait a minute. I want to come back, not swinging too much and try to do 10 shows, but maybe you get man to man, or you do, yeah, the man to man show is wonderful, or like two new shows. You do that and you say, okay, I've had 100 poems published in different magazines. Well, now I might want to do a compilation with Tom and Renee and each of us put out 30 poems, whatever. Right
Yeah.
now, maybe I want to put out this acoustic instrumental record. You
I'm
can do any of those things you want to do.
and I am starting to do some of those things because as a lot of the people watching this know, I have an all poetry account that a friend of mine turned me on to, God, 4 or 5 years ago at this point. But
Mm-hmm.
I finally pulled the trigger.
Good.
I submitted one of my poems for publication in a hard copy book, and I got an email back from one of the founders of the website a few days back saying that when this poetry book goes to print January 12th, 2023, my poem will be in the book. And I
What?
cannot I don't know how I'm going to act. I don't know how I'm going to react. I know that
Congratulations.
I know as soon as that book comes out, I'm putting that in every live link I've got. They send you two physical copies of the book in advance. I'll keep one for myself, send one to Renee, and then when the link comes out, I'll be in high heaven there. But yeah,
Well, I know how
I'm
you're
making
going to
shit
act.
happen.
I know how you're going to act. You're going to be proud of it, but you should
Mhm.
continue to act normally and be humbled by it and ambitious to continue writing more and doing more. And that's how we get by in this life, and that's how the artist's life is. We're constantly inspired by others. You've inspired me. You know, I remember a while back, you told me that I inspired you with starting to write poetry again. And there's these
Yes.
wonderful things. It's a wonderful game of catch back and forth that we do for each other, And
Amen,
I
brother.
can't wait to see when you come out of this. And because basically, Jon Phipps, no 25-year-old man should be retired. And you're retired from doing these things that you love. So we need to get you in this right space. I know that you're in the process of getting a new therapist. That is going to be wonderful. Please continue to reach out to myself and Renee and M and Sandy D and Diane Call. Diane Marie Call is my hero.
Oh, hell yeah.
Absolutely. She is become probably my favorite person I met in like the past couple of years, and working with her and doing stuff with her. And also she's just a sound human. She's a sound woman who's given me advice, everything she says straight up. I go, well, I know that's a very sound person. So I'm going to agree with it,
She's a very sage person. I love her.
Very talented and just, so how's your brain lately? Because lately, for a while, you were just on this complete high. And then lately I've seen that you've been disappointed by some things, or let's say some people. And that worries me because you can't let those things or those people bring you down.
Yeah, I think it's just the time of the season.
The holidays,
that
okay, that happens.
It goes past that from like the 1st of November to like the middle of March. I just completely changed because of course it's the holidays, but there's so many milestones there. Mom's birthday is November 6th. December 28th is my brother Evan's birthday. February 18th, that's when Mom died. And it's just, I don't know. I mean, I've tried every trick in the book to try and set that darkness behind me, but it just creeps in. Some years it hits me harder than others. Some years it's not that bad, but it's always present this year. And, always present this time of year, and especially this year. I've just, aside from worrying about stuff in the cosmos, I've been really taking a look at some of the things outside of there that I am struggling with. I struggle with attachments with people. I struggle with falling for the wrong people. I struggle with always thinking the world is out to get me. I think everybody's trying to stab me in the back or things like that. And it's just,
no one is. Well, first of all, those things like your brother, your family, your mother, huge. Those are very normal. And I think the first thing to do is you might have to just realize and confront it that it might be for the rest of your life, those months you're going to feel that way. So then you got to say, okay, what can I do to make myself feel a little bit less not that way? I get depressed. There's seasonal depression is very real. I think about things that happened to me when I was growing up that play mind tricks on me. And I'm like, next thing you know, 3 days went by and I'm a mess and I'm sad and I haven't gotten one beautiful or good thing done, So you need to try to just be very aware and alert and be like, okay, I know this is going to happen. First of all, November to March is a long time. So you want to maybe cut that in half. You know what I mean? And then say, okay, what can I do to not make this as severe? Because that's a long time to be in a darkness because you may never get out of that. So you need to take it day by day and try to make these things what can I do? And Diane would probably tell you best, there's exercises that you can do. Your new therapist, I'm sure, will be able to tell you this exercise you can do. Mantras. I mean, I try to meditate, and for a man who has an attention deficit problem, meditation is difficult, but I'm very good at mantras, and that's a form of meditation. And it's whether it's me laying down or me standing up or me walking. Meditate, like mantras while I'm walking, have been the most successful for me. And it's like 5 words repeated over and over again, walking for like 4 miles, and I get myself into the closest of a Zen-like place I can be. But also, you're a wonderful guitar player. Scream your poems, bang on some drums, bang on a piano, get a bicycle, get a punching bag. These things are also forms of therapy, at least I know for me.
Yeah, I've been, just in the last few days, I've been knocking out 3 or 4 new pieces.
Good.
But though my mind is like an Etch-a-Sketch, though. You just shake it a little bit and all those ideas go out of here.
Oh, I know.
So I've been trying to record as many of them as I can.
You got to write everything down. There's some songs that I've written just this weekend, because I said I was in the mountains and definitely enjoying the spirits and the sky and everything, and I got free, and I was like trying to remember these songs that I started writing, and I'm like, man, it's a real sin that I didn't write those first few words down, because now I can't remember where I was going.
Though I don't really write lyrics much. All of my written word stuff is more into poems, but the few times a year that I do come up with lyrics, I always shop them out to someone else. I've sent Renee a few things that either she didn't think was good enough to use or whatnot, but
well, yeah, I mean poems, there are a lot of poems of mine that have become so. I mean, I look at music. I think Renee and I talked about this just last week when she was an awesome guest. What a great conversation we had. I always have great conversations with her. But like, music to me is math and poetry, and it's these rhythms that we get into. And when you listen to a jazz player, whether he's just doing John Coltrane going on a run on tenor saxophone, or a recording of Allen Ginsberg reading, or even the reading of just like of these old beat poets and stuff. There's a rhythm to our reading, and that's why I said sometimes I'll be working and I'll see you doing a reading, and I'll just put it on while I'm working in the studio, and there's a rhythm to your reading and interpreting other people's poems, and that right there is a talent. A person with a good voice and being good a reader is a great talent, and you have that as well.
It's still, I have a confession to make. It still freaks me out when you or Renee, or say someone like MM or like Panerea, who I hope you have on in the near future.
I tried to send her a note, and for some reason it wouldn't go through. I thought we were friends on the old FB, but then I commented on her page saying, "I'm trying to get you on Burn It Down. Please hit me up." So if you want, you could just give her my personal email address or whatever. Pan, I don't give out my information on on comments, but John or Renee will give it to you, and I'm a fan of yours, and that's what we do, and that's this community. We're all meeting each other and networking.
Yeah, it just freaks me out whenever one of y'all say that I've inspired you. I think the one that kind of flipped me out the most was Linda Rose, who is one half of the wonderful hosts of Orchid Times alongside Lily May. Yeah. She I don't know, I don't remember if it was on a poem I posted or if it was in a reading that I did, but she came in and she's like, "Yeah, you really inspire me to keep writing. You really pushed me back into writing." And my jaw just hit the floor.
And she's the future, by the way. So you're inspiring.
Yes, she is.
You are inspiring the future. What strong, awesome, beautiful, sweet, smart, intelligent, talented young ladies. You're inspiring them, Jon Phipps. So that's what I'm trying to tell you is, let's try to have less of the negativity and really focus on the positivity and keep on inspiring people.
Yeah, I'm slowly but surely starting to realize that. I'm just thinking in my mind, I'm like, holy shit, I do my poems are inspiring. My poems are
They're
making
very
waves.
inspiring. They're sad. There's a little hint of happiness. They're just real. And that's the thing. I actually only really, I mean, it's really wild. Sad songs make me very happy. I mean, Nick Cave's Ship song is one of my favorite songs ever. I do it once in a while. You've heard me. And it's this sad ballad. And it, for some reason, just makes me very, very happy. I do it with Daniel Gay. It's a lovely, beautiful, gorgeous love song, And you need to keep that up because you've already found your voice. That's the insane thing. You know how many people are still struggling as artists, trying to figure out their voice? Like, I know what my voice is. It has nothing to do with my voice. It has to do with my style and the way I present things. And you already have that. So you're halfway there. We just need we need to know that you're good in the head, and we're not going to worry about you trying to go for it and executing it.
Yeah, that's just, and I see, this is the thing. This is what happens when two show hosts. This is what happens when you have two show hosts on the same show, because Tom's giving me his questions, and now I'm just thinking of in my head. I'm trying to flip the interview.
Right. You know what?
I'm trying to flip the interview.
First things first. We're gonna say this again. Because I know Renee behind the scenes is so busy and has another show after this. So we've already talked. And again, not for some of the new fans and viewers who don't know, Mr. JP, Jon Phipps, is one of the brainchilds, like one of the co-creators who came up with this TV station, this whole awesome, beautiful, gorgeous platform that we share. And then he stepped away for a minute to fix his heart and his brain and everything. We're going to have him back. But my point being is when we have to cut this short because there's another show after this, we already know you're going to be this work in progress that we probably have on the show every month or so. And we're going to ask you how you're doing so you can give us your progress. And maybe the next time or the time after that, you say, I got news for you. January 15th is MLK Jr.'s birthday, but also it's my comeback and I have a show. Who knows? I may have just pissed off some of the producers behind the scenes. Sorry, Renee, for mentioning it, But my point is because that's the thing, because we all are family and community, and we all love the underdog, and we love success stories, and we love, and we love support, and we love being there for friends, and we love seeing our friends kick ass and be like, yeah, that's right, I was underneath the mud, but I came back. I used to tell people 10 years ago, I felt like a dog turd underneath a construction boot for about 2 years. And that's the worst feeling in the world. I used to say, I felt like, and I turned it into a poem. I said, I was 2 feet tall and nothing at all. And then I go, but the good news for you people is today I'm 49 feet tall. And I got it.
That brings me to a question. You talked a little bit about depression and all. How hard is it for you to write about that stuff? Because I very rarely write about what I'm going through.
Everything that I write is still very much autobiographical. So every poem and every song, whether it's the first word or something in the middle, the last few words, there's something there that is real. But then the storyteller, the fiction writer, the jokester, the guy who doesn't take himself too seriously, the self-deprecating, and then the embellisher storyteller. I change it, and I'm Daniel Gay and I talk about this all the time. It's like you take what you do seriously, but not too seriously. So something like saying, you say, like, I'm a I was working on the song the other day, and one of the lines goes, I'm confused, I'm a mess. Well, let me get this off my chest. I'm confused, I'm a mess. Let me get this off my chest. But then at the end, I'm like, I'm confused, I'm a mess. I woke up with the meat sweats, and I'm like, and my hair, it's beyond repair. And my teeth, I don't know where they're going. Like, these things, So they're very real. But then you're either laughing or you're crying, and I go, okay, well, let me do this here, and then the story, and I embellish it, and I have people here that I bounce ideas off of. My assistant, my brother Scott, who is a brilliant writer, and he's very honest to me. He'll be like, this works, this doesn't, and I do the same for him. Although he doesn't need my help because he's just an impeccable writer on his own. But maybe that's a good process for you, whether it's you're in therapy or not, is for you to actually say, wait a minute, I want to tackle this and write a few words about my depression. Even if you're not going to use it in a poem, just be like, man, today I looked in the mirror and I wanted to punch it. Today I looked at this bridge and for 1 second I said I could jump off of it. I'm glad I did. And now I'm under the bridge and I'm drinking a coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And I'll definitely try to write some more about what I go through, as hard as
Because
it may be to do
writing
sometimes.
your writing is so good. Like it's better than that. That's an understatement. It's unbelievably good. And your presentation and your reading is so good. So what you think you're gonna have a problem with, I know you won't. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're just gonna be. You're gonna have to like. It's like when I'm working on a project at work, and I get frustrated, and it's like 10:45 a.m. or 11 a.m. and I've been down for 40 minutes. I have not been able to fix this problem and troubleshoot this thing. I go, well, I'm not hungry, but I need to go for a walk and go have lunch now. I walk away, go get a cup of coffee, maybe go get a soup, or maybe just go outside and walk and get air on the face. When I come back, I see it completely different. I knock it out in 5 minutes.
Yeah, so that's one big thing I've been learning in my writing is not to force pieces. Don't force anything in writing.
No. Yeah, no, and I talk about that as well with friends who want to have the conversation about like writer's block. Don't push it. Like watch a movie that inspires you, listen to a record that inspires you, live, laugh, love, cry, whatever. And then the next time you sit down, just the words just start flowing. Blue blood ink just starts pouring out of your fingers into that pen onto the paper.
Yeah. And to add to that, I don't know how I got back on this, but I've been watching Jim Valvano's ESP speech for every day for like the last 5 or 6 days. And just what he closes that great speech with, don't give up, don't ever give up.
That's right. And we mentioned that last week when I was talking about the song Don't Give Up by Peter Gabriel. These things and these struggles and the ups and downs and all arounds, they are so real, and none of us can escape it. We all have sadness around us every day, whether it's family, whether it's loved ones, friends. Shit you see on the news, goodness. I mean, I get really stressed out, and loved ones tell me, what's wrong with you? Why are you watching the news? It really messes with me, because all you want is love and good things to happen to the people that you care about, and we care about you. The CCT TV community cares about you. You really came up with so many brilliant ideas with these shows and this station. And a big shout out to Dennis Tardon because I know that he inspired you guys, and then you took this thing, and then you guys believed in me. You and Renee came to me and said, Tom, you need to have your own show. And now I want to take the show to the next level. I want to do the show 3 nights a week, 5 nights a week. I'm loving it, and I want you guys involved in it because I feel so lucky that I've met so many wonderful musicians over the years, artists, poets, entrepreneurs, people doing charity work, and it's all in the name of just goodness and kindness. By the way, I just found this out today. David Arquette posted this thing saying today is National World Kindness Day. So it's awesome that we got Jon Phipps as our guest on National World Kindness Day. And because when you're together and in your best place, think about all the stuff that you did when you were kind of like cracked and a mess. Like, you know what I mean? You're gonna do that times 10. And that's the best success story and the best part of all of it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to jumping back into everything and helping Renee and you and everybody else again. And so this time,
I love your shows. I love your shows that you do. They're so good. And you've and like the interviews that you've sent me and the YouTube clips that you've sent me of like, hey, listen to this or watch this. They've inspired me because you really have. And I told you this a while back. I was like, you can have a future in broadcasting, in journalism, in television. I work behind the scenes in it, and I can help you with that. And I really see you having a future in that.
Thank you, sir. I mentioned coming back into Cosmos. The differences this time over the first stint I was in it, April 2021 to August of this year. I know when to step back. I have the resources. I have good people in my corner when I get down or stressed. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you are one of them. I'm grateful that Renee is one of them. I'm grateful that this entire team is someone who would be there for me when the sun is at high noon and in the dark of night.
Right.
I'm trying to be poetic and my mind is going fuzzy, but it's all right.
You're once again, you're speaking beautifully. And what we're going to do when we get off, we're going to look at the calendar again and find out when it's good to have you back. And we're going to say, point A, point B, point C, where you at right now? Let's get you here, Jon Phipps, and let's maybe even take baby steps to get you back more involved. And then you come back swinging because, again, you have this natural presence and natural talents talking to these people, and that's the thing, because we're all works in progress. I mean, I'm learning and getting better at this show. I was so nervous, and I loved my first episode with Darren Sanders. She also was wonderful, but I can't wait to have him back because it's going to even be better because I'm getting better at this, getting better at my segues. I look at my notes and I go, man, I know I said I wanted to say this here, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to say this here.
I know Renee is probably in the background going, "Get off stage!"
Right now,
so
she just went like this. 2-minute warning. We want to say much love and respect to you. All the love. We are here for you. Keep on reaching out. Keep on doing what you're doing. And I look forward to hearing the updates of where you're at with your therapy sessions. And thank you, though, for hooking up with Dennis Tardon and hooking up with Renee Yaworski and starting this awesome channel, because CCTV rules, and we talk about it all the time. We're changing the game as we speak. It's not it's not just television. No, it's this conglomerate. It's this group that it's just nonstop, beautiful entertainment, information, art, intelligence, and we appreciate it. And thank you so much for bringing it to the people.
Thank you so much for believing in all of us and allowing us to put this show on this network. And it's been just a joy. Thank you.
I love it, man. We burned it down, and we're going to do it again soon. Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Renee. Everyone. Yes, PBJ. Everybody be good to each other. Love is all around. Cheers.